Call to order, 7 o'clock. Welcome to the PMBC meeting for October 8th, 2025. Warrants, we don't have any. Approve amended meetings from 9/24. I did not get those out, so we're going to pass on those. Shake Lane School update. We're just doing community outreach. The town meeting is on the 28th with a town vote to on the first to help me out with this. What is it? To
Go forward with it.
well, it's to go outside the levee for
Right.
Yeah,
That's the Saturday one, isn't it?
that's on
Yeah.
Saturday.
Town meeting is to just approve the project, and the vote is to approve the override.
The override.
It's a financial.
That exclusion.
The override of the 2.5%.
Yeah.
So the Shaker Lane School vote on the 28th is a 2/3 vote by town meeting to move forward, and then the vote on the first for the override is just a majority vote, and that's where we are with that. Senior Center update. Anything, Brian?
Yep, a couple documents to share as we close the project out. Currently, last time I spoke with you, we were in the warranty process. We did have some issues with the floor at the senior center. There was some back and forth and some meetings to be had behind the scenes between the manufacturer of the flooring material as well as the installer. It was deemed that the installation, there were some issues on that. The seams were starting to cup, and they've begun the process of replacing that. So they've done one Saturday. Their plan is to come the next 2 Saturdays to repair the flooring seams that they have in that multi-purpose room as well as other areas. We also have a finalization of our roofing punch list, which is to be performed this Friday. We had a back punch, or the manufacturer to come out to review the roof and the state that it was in. They had a few minor comments with that. They'll be out on Friday to finish that up. We also have 2 dead trees on site right now. The site contractor's been notified of that. They will be replacing those 2. That is being scheduled, and we'll be notified when they want to perform the work. We'll get the clearance from the senior center in order to do that. The plumbing changes that we had discussed before, one was the extension down underneath one of the sinks for ease of use. That has been completed. And the work up on the roof for the roof hydrant has also been corrected as well. So that was taken care of by Commodore after our discussions that we had. I know there was a lot of confusion on my part as well as to what actually was installed and what was the purpose of it actually leaking inside. That has been modified as well. So that has been taken care of by under contract and done from what we've approved previously. I do have 2 documents that I want to share. If Bob, if you're the gatekeeper, would it be okay if I could share my screen?
Hey, Brian, before we move on, was there a root cause determined for the problem with the flooring?
Yes, they believe that the adhesive that was being used with the installation methods that were done were incorrect. And so there is a process that needs to happen with the welding of the seams that they felt was not done correctly. And CJM was the filed sub bid, has stepped up to the plate, and will be performing those on these weekend work. So
is this?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is this just isolated areas, or is it the whole floor?
It's pretty widespread, and I think Eric can speak to that too.
Yeah. So the staff over at the COA had marked all the areas in the floor that were of concern. It's a very time-intensive process, so they were there all day Saturday, and I believe they finished about half of the multi-purpose room. because the process involves cutting away the actual seam and then re-welding it back together. Um, it seems to solve the problem of the tripping hazard issue, and it bonds the two materials together. But if you shine a light over it, it's still a little bit off and not perfectly flat. But I was told that that should be rectified. So
our plan, Steve and Eric too, is to let them finish, then also
Yeah.
notify them that warranty would come in, a new warranty would come into effect after the corrections are made,
Right.
and then to do a site walk with Liz and Eric, the end user, make sure that everyone's satisfied, including the designer. We'll get their opinion on whether or not the manufacturer representative should be present as well to see the installation of this once it's completed, to make sure that we're all set, and then a new warranty period would take into effect after that.
Good. Okay. Thanks.
No problem.
Steve, quick question. Brian, about the roofing, what were the roofing issues, and
Yep. So the roof,
hard to address them with the solar panels up there? Or?
yeah, no, the issue is that we approved a change in order to put a roof hydrant up on the roof in order for maintenance up on the HVAC units. Instead of dragging a hose up from a spigot at ground level in order to get it up there, we installed a roof hydrant. It's a freeze-free roof hydrant that has a drain or a shutoff below the roof line in order to avoid any freezing in the pipes. That does not mean that there needs to be a subsequent drain that is tied to that in order to pick up any residual water that's between that shutoff and the top of the roof hydrant. And so what I think, Eric, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but what we felt happened is when the roofer was out doing some punch list work, they turned on the roof hydrant, shut it off like as it should, but there was never a drain that was installed because the plumber that installed the roof hydrant felt as though there was a drain that did not need to be installed because of it being a frost-free hydrant. The residual water that was in that length of pipe from just below roof grade up until the spigot had dripped down and had wet the insulation, and it dripped down on a couple of the ceiling tiles that we had. So that has now been rectified, sealed up, and corrected from the roofer and the plumber at this point.
Wow. Okay, thanks.
And two last items from a closeout perspective. We have sent over the closeout index, which would be from Vertex, which contains everything that transpired throughout construction, all of our meeting minutes, change orders, submittals, but all of Commodore's closeout documentation as well, which is their submittals, their operations and maintenance manuals, their warranties. And so that has been transferred and should be in your possession now. The only thing we will be missing is I want to make sure that we get an updated warranty on the floor, and to make sure that we get a final closeout from the manufacturer on the roof, which can be included into that and resent to everybody.
Brian, what about the bocce court?
That's the next line that I have. I spoke with the vice president at Commodore about that, and I let him know that the price that was put in front of us was unacceptable. They want to make this right. He said he was going back to Brightview. They were going to come up with some different options about what could be done in order to mitigate this problem. So he did not talk with me about any pricing at this point. It was more of, he does not want to leave it in a condition that can't be used. So I spoke with him last week about that.
Who did you talk to?
Jim DiMarzio.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
And then finally, from a financial work, thank you to Michelle, has been working with our accounting team to reconcile the project budget as a whole. I have one change order to share with the committee. I hope it's received well. This was gone through the entire guaranteed maximum price of Commodore to zero out any unused allowances which were our electrical procurement risk allowance. We originally held about $60,000 in the event that we had electrical procurement issues based on switchgear and our concerns at the time. We also had leftover funds of over $67,000 for winter conditions allowance that paid for temporary heat, any temporary windows that needed to go in, any snow removal, all of which was taken out of this bucket, and we had a relatively mild winter, which benefited the project. And then C005, which is a sum of all of the other budgeted line items, inclusive of general conditions, general requirements, contingencies that Commodore had, that we zeroed out to make sure that we didn't have anything left to spend, but also making sure that anything that was being held or contingency on their based was to be closed out. So the credit change order Commodore is providing, and I've reviewed and recommending, is a credit of $498,222.25. And this dovetails into our overall project budget. And I understand this is a little tough to read, but I just want to show you the process in which we've done. This is our total budget. We've created some new columns here, which is to represent what we plan on spending for the remainder of probably the next month, which would be inclusive of OPM services and the remainder of Commodore's contract that they still have yet to bill, which would be retainage and any remaining roof work that we were holding money on. But also zeroing out any of the budgeted line items that we had budgeted for that we did not spend. For example, any legal fees, any advertising. We did not have any moving fees. We had some leftover surplus from a furniture, fixtures, and equipment budget. But I did want to bring your attention down to the bottom where we had our contingencies for this project. We started with around $600,000 in construction contingency. We spent about $100,000. And from an owner's project contingency, we started with about $150,000. We spent about $69,000, which was most of the portion of that was for the AV system that was in the multipurpose room that was higher than what we anticipated. That being said, with everything closing out, the original project, and I'll zoom in a little bit, the original project appropriation was $18,616,555. We anticipate spending $17,204,915. That results in a little over $1.2 million that we are under the budget that was appropriated at town meeting in 2023. So
that's what, about 8% difference, or a variance of about minus 8% or 7%, or
I think yes, correct. And so the reasons for that, if we were to say what the drivers were of this 1.2, would be the lack of use of contingency, which was roughly $600,000 on the owner's side. We had the credit back from Commodore for that $498,000, but we also had things that we had stashed away. We had $100,000 in the event we had to do some soil remediation, as there were some concerns when we took our borings underneath the tennis courts. Right. We did not have to use any of that. We had thank you to the DPW, who was able to take that material and store it off site. But overall, we did come in quite significantly under, and I think that's a reflection of the contingencies not being used.
Ryan, that 17,350 there.
Yep.
Is it going to be any changes to that?
No. And so what town accounting and Michelle's department were very eager for was to find out what the final number was going to be, so that they can prepare for borrowing and bonding on this project. And that was the purpose of this blue column and this yellow column. So the blue column represents what we anticipate remaining to spend. For example, MEP commissioning and construction still has just under $4,000 remaining. We know we're going to spend that because they still owe us a 10-month walkthrough in the spring. And so we want to make sure that we're still accounting for that money that's going to be spent. But we want to, anything, I guess to further explain it, we originally budgeted $50,000 for it. The commissioning agent's contract was for $43,000. That remaining $6,900 that we had here that was still in that budget, we're projecting not to spend that anymore. So that would go to the savings to the project.
So is that commissioning contract not a lump sum, but a T&M, or how does that work?
The commissioning was lump sum, but they provided it broken out by milestones that they
Got
had.
it.
So
Okay.
they owed us about 15 meetings throughout, about 10 site visits, all the pre-functional checklists, the verification of the sequence of operations, and then they owe our 10-month walkthrough to make sure that the building's still operating correctly. So we will hold that, and we'll be paid in the spring when we have our follow-up meeting.
So they had a schedule of values and didn't.
Correct. Yep. Their invoice would
Use
come
it all.
through our
Got it.
office just like anyone else's invoice and be reviewed and recommended.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. And sorry to take so long. Just this is an example of the DCAM. That's our last item that we have. Vertex met with Steve and Bob and Ryan Ferrara at the time and went through all of the general contractor as well as the filed sub bidders, which we are required by law to provide these evaluation forms. And Tim, just to show you, it's a 9-page document, but we fill in the project information. This one is for Wayne Griffin, who is the electrical sub, and we have to grade them on things like how are their submittals, which Griffin's always kind of top of the line, so they're excellent. So we had a round table and went through each one and discussed what their rating was. I'll just scroll to the bottom to show you once it's all said and done, Wayne Griffin scored a 96 on this, which would go to DCAM, be filed. Their statement would be updated for their next project that they go to be qualified for. So they did a nice job, and I think any points that they were taken off just is because they weren't excellent. They were pretty good on things. So that's an example of that.
Brian, I just have a question on that. Are those something that, if we're going through procurement for something that we can go and find stuff like that
Yes.
on our own? Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Any public project, a contractor needs to be DCAM certified on this, and you'll be able to reference their DCAM update statement and their DCAM scorecard.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Just of note, Brian, on the change order, the 498,000, the address in the top left says 20 Manning Road for the senior center.
Where's that?
Oh,
Right
Right
next
there.
to
Yeah,
you.
where did that
Yeah.
come from?
No, I want to know where 20 Manning Road is.
must be for another project.
Must be. I'll make sure that's corrected before it gets passed around for signatures for that.
Hey,
So,
hey, Brian, do we need to vote to approve this change order?
I think it wouldn't hurt, Stephen, and then that will solidify their PO amount and their credit back and their final contract value.
Yeah, I agree. So is there a motion to approve the credit change order for Commodore for a deduct of, can you put that back up so I can read it?
$498,222.25.
Oh, thank you, Bob. Was that a motion?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, roll call vote. Bob?
Bob Romo, yes.
Bartlett?
Bartlett Harvey, yes.
Tim?
Tim Harvey, yes.
John?
John Ahern, yes.
Steve Moore, yes, and the motion carries. Thank you. Anything else on the senior center, Brian?
No, thank you.
Okay, let's move over to 36 King.
Brian, if you could just send that, with the revised address. You can send that to me and I can put it out for signature.
Excellent.
Steve.
Thank you. I'll do that this evening. I'll get
Great.
that up and send right now. Thank you.
Be dancing in the halls of the finance office.
Okay, Brian, 36.
Yeah, 36 King. From a project perspective, we've received all of the closeout and warranty documents from Classic. We've also put that into a file tree. I think Matt has that ready to be sent, and we'll have that over to you by the end of the week. That will have all of our closeout, our meeting minutes, change orders. We were also going through the process of the projections and reconciling from the project's perspective, as we all know, we had overruns in our changes, but I want to make sure from an appropriation of what our project was ties out to the town. So we're in the process of that. We'll have that hopefully completed within the next week or so. So I will defer to Ryan a little on some of the work that's been going on regarding the insurance claim that needed to happen regarding the damages that were done, and also I know Eric's doing some work, and Eric, I think I got some information for you from what you were asking on some door openers over at the facility.
Yeah, so the remediation company, Service Master, and the insurance company, Hanover, who covered the builder's risk insurance, have finally come to an agreement, and we have a number, and everything's kind of going well with that. Kind of what we expected. The sprinkler system was deemed to be corroded and damaged, so that cost is going to be on the town, and that's going to be settled hopefully this week. We just got the final invoice from Service Master today, so that's going to be for review.
So Brian, who gets the download of all the information? Does that go to Eric?
Yeah, we'll send it to you and Eric as well. We have it on our SharePoint, so the files are too large, so you can download it on your leisure. And if that doesn't work, I'm driving by constantly. I'll drop off some thumb drives and leave them with the building department or with facilities as well.
So that'll be a link.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So I think if you could copy Bob as well.
Yep. No problem.
So Eric, are you saying the town has to cover some of the costs because it was determined they should have kept the pipes up or something?
So what the insurance is kind of fighting back against is since it's a builder's risk insurance claim, they're responsible for once the pipes burst and afterwards, but not why the pipes burst and how to fix that. So with working with the remediation company, one of the issues was there was only a few ceiling tiles damaged, but most of the ceiling tiles were existing to remain. But if you replace a new ceiling tile with one from 1990, it doesn't look right. So in their best practice, they wanted to replace all of them, and were hoping that would get covered by the insurance. But unfortunately, it was not. There's certain things like that we worked with the insurance on some things, but unfortunately, the pipe, the pipe that had an issue was basically inaccessible. So we had to abandon that pipe, and we had to reroute the sprinkler system. And that's what kind of cost what it cost.
Sort of like health insurance, pre-existing conditions.
Yeah, so they deemed it
something like that.
Yeah. So the pipes are corroded, so everything after the water damage failure was covered, but everything prior to that and the repairs of our existing building were not, which was the repiping, the that type of stuff. and obviously the electrical was covered. That was submitted this week, and we're getting the flooring installed for one office, and that will be the final step for that.
I will just add too, as one of my questions was, well, why weren't we inspecting, or why didn't we have these notified during maybe some of the walkthroughs? And some of the explanation that we've gotten from our architect is based upon the level of construction that we were doing, which was a level 2 renovation, which we were trying to minimally touch as much as we could. Nor did they go and inspect any of the existing fire protection piping that was inaccessible underneath existing HVAC units. We did have old reports that were provided to us once the town purchased that building, that we were able to provide to insurance. So it's a little bit of Murphy's Law here that it happened when it did. It would have been a different story if maybe it happened during construction, or even just prior to. So
Well, the bottom line is, the scope of work was for the design is minimal, but even if we had, the scope of work was more complete, we would have paid for it one way or the other.
Yeah, and one thing that was actually pretty beneficial, and I've used ServiceMaster in the past. I did residential for 10 years, and they actually compensated the $12,000 worth of ceiling reinforcement that had to be done from the sagging ceiling in Samantha's office. So that was a huge savings for us. That was about
Really?
$12,000
Wow.
they comped for us. So just because of the understanding of what the predicament we were in and how insurance for the builder's risk had expired, and we, all that. So, it wasn't the worst thing. We addressed a pipe that was in a very poor location, and it's literally the worst location in the building, and that's been rectified. So, and also, we got some extra ceiling tiles, some lighting, and some things like that it needed to be done anyway. So I don't think it's quite the worst thing. Might be a little bit more money than we wanted to spend, but it's good for the building.
Good. Okay. Anything else on 36 King?
no, thank you.
Nope.
So, police station, anything, Eric?
Yeah, so I was gonna ask what you guys wanted to do. The deputy and the chief want the window trim put back on. The administrator's office window that was tested, and the conference area room that was tested. And just from George and I talking back and forth, without really a true issue or a resolution of this, in the administrator's office, they have been complaining about a draft. So what we thought we could do for the winter is just kind of foam around that window and retrim the window in that room, and then not do it in the conference room, and see what the difference is between the two windows. Because if you remember, the windows are not actually sealed into the frame. They're just friction fit right in, and there's a gap on each side of the window. So if we filled that with a window trim sealing foam, because you could see daylight through it, maybe that would work. But I would rather do it on one to see if it works, and then maybe do it to the rest if it does. If it doesn't work, then we've eliminated another thing.
So the kind of quandary is, this is really not a PMBC project. We've been
Right.
kind of following it because it was a PMBC project.
Exactly.
But I think if trim has been removed, we were not involved in that. So if trim needs to be reinstalled, I
Yep.
think that's,
So
Eric, you and George can put that back in, right?
Yeah, so we were gonna put it back in. I would, from my recommendation, if you guys are okay with it, I would like to try to insulate and foam one of the windows and reinstall the trim, and then not insulate and refoam another one of the windows and see if we have the same condition occur again, or if it happens on one of the windows and not one of the other windows, then we have kind of a solution.
But kind
But
of
if we
makes
do
sense.
both, if we do both, then we really don't know.
Right.
So,
I mean, that makes sense to me, but you know, again, it's not a committee
Yeah,
Might have
decision.
to look into some portable dehumidifiers for next year, next summer.
yeah, so we'll try it, and we talked to the HVAC contractor, and he's gonna work on seeing if he can do some testing on the differential humidity and zoning in that area to move some more air. But we'll put that trim back up if that's I mean it's gotta be put up for the winter because there's gonna be drafts coming through. So
Yeah.
we'll put that back up in the next week or two.
Sounds like a good plan. So,
All right.
all right, moving on to member input. Anything? Bob?
I'm all set, Steve.
Tim?
Yeah, I'm set. Just one question. We had talked about maybe seeing those reports on the police station last meeting.
I sent those to Steve Moore, I believe. I can send those to the rest of the group if you want.
Well, I may have missed that. Been a little busy, but yeah, if you could send it to the whole group, that'd be great, Eric.
All right, I will. I'll see if I have them on my computer. If not, I have them in my file at work, and I'll send them tomorrow. All right.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. That'd be great.
Bartlett?
I'm okay. I'm still puzzled by these windows, and if they're sealed and fire hose water doesn't go through them, I don't understand how drafts are going through them. There's something I just don't understand about it.
Yeah, so the window is friction fit into the masonry. And so there's nothing in the sides of the windows. There's no insulation between the
Yeah.
actual oak trim and the window. But you can see light coming through through the window panes through the inside of the window. The only thing that we can really think of is that the weep holes are plugged and that there's water collecting inside the CMU, inside the masonry block that wasn't filled. The only way to determine that is to pull the window out. So I think for the winter, we try one window and
Yeah.
seal it with foam because there's no insulation or weatherproofing around the window. And the plan was to do it like at maybe the end of the day on tomorrow, and then go in early Friday and cut the foam off and get it nice and flush, and then reinstall the trim. But there's only a little bit of trim left in the back for attic stock, so we can only probably do one window legitimately, and then we'll do the one in the conference room just back the way it was, and we'll see what happens between the two to kind
Makes
of
sense.
get a combination.
Are the weeps blocked?
They were tested and they were determined to have worked by the engineer and the waterproofing company, but I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't think we had a problem with the weeps, but anyway.
They were cleaned and redone the last time the masonry was conducted.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they should work. And I spoke with the building commissioner, and he said the only thing that he can think of is that the open cells on the concrete blocks are not filled with foam or anything, and that water could be collecting in that. But the only way to tell is to remove the window. But that's out of your purview, and that'll be a facilities issue.
Or could I meet you over there and take a look at it myself, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, absolutely.
What time do you think you'll be there?
I have. Let me look at my calendar. I think I'm going there.
Hey, Brian, we took some of the windows out. We did an extent.
Bartlett, I'll send you something separate, okay?
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you.
In
Yep.
fact, Vertex did a pretty extensive investigation over there, didn't they?
Yeah, there was some destructive testing from a few different vendors, us included. I was trying to look up some pictures right now. I've sent everything I have, but there may be some other files of pictures of what we have once the windows were removed.
Yeah, I'll send out all those reports from Brian Valentine,
Yep.
in the waterproofing company.
Oh, so you have those, Eric?
Yeah, I believe I sent them to you last week. I'll send them out again.
No, I'm talking about. Do you have the reports from what was it? 3 years ago we did the destructive testing.
Yep.
Something.
I
like
don't have those. I believe Brian would, or we might be able to get them off Ryan's computer.
Well, I mean, Brian has
I
them.
can I'll find them as well. I do have them.
Yeah.
I
Let me
just have I have the most recent ones from BES, which was the waterproofing company that was contracted by LLB Architects.
Got it. I will get you everything else that we have.
And then yeah, we'll just foam one of the windows, put the trim back up, and then we'll just put the trim back up as it was on the other window and see what happens.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to occur during the winter. It only seems to occur in the summer. So
I know it. It's weird.
probably an HVAC issue, but I don't know. That bullnose still seems to irk me
Yeah,
a little bit.
but to Bob's point, for the first 10 years we didn't have this problem.
Yeah.
And-
So it was the same HVAC system. It was the same masonry. You guys rebuilt the roof and all the lintels, right?
But we did more than that. We
Yeah.
we did some work around the windows.
So
It's
maybe
almost like the water's not getting out of the building. That's the condensation that's building up. It's
Right,
not
Bob.
getting out.
Yeah, Bob, it might be stuck in the cinder block, how it has the two voids in the middle. If those voids are not filled with foam, they can fill up with condensation and moisture. And
I'm thinking more like the HVA systems, that it's
Yeah.
not getting,
Oh,
the water's
okay,
not
yeah.
getting out of there.
You don't want to fill the void between the brick and the CMU, and because that's where the moisture goes, and it goes down through the weeps.
Well, I'm saying but in the cores of the CMU of the actual block, the holes in the block in the middle of the cinder
Right.
blocks. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I think we beat it to death.
Well, anyway, I think your approach, Eric, it sounds good,
We'll
and
try it.
more to come on that.
It's on the admin office, so all eyes will be on it, and we'll see how it does.
Right. Okay. Let's see. Member input. We did Tim, Bartlett, Bob, Sean.
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, and I'm all set. Next meeting is October 22nd. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Steve, before you adjourn,
Yeah.
for the DCAM stuff, are you gonna meet separately on that?
Yeah, Bob, Bob and I and Eric will review that. As I
Okay.
recall, Bob and I have already done that months ago, when Ryan was still here, and but we'll take another look at it, and hopefully by Eric, do you have any capability of looking at that this week?
Yeah, the DCAM stuff, I can probably do it tomorrow is my most free day. Friday's a little bit busy, but Yeah, I can take a look at that. And I think Diane Dickerson might be a good reference for that. I think she might have been involved with some of that stuff, Michelle. I don't know if you
Really?
I don't think she was.
No, she wasn't.
know.
No. No, it was just Ryan, myself and Bob at that time.
Actually, Matt was involved in it at the time too.
Oh, Matt. Yeah, yeah.
Matt Sturs.
Well, Matt actually did the
He did the
initial
decams.
valuation.
Yeah.
Matt from Vertex.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. All
So,
right. Yeah, I'll try and figure that out tomorrow or the next day, Friday.
So why don't you and Bob and I look at that, and then if we have any comments by close of business Friday, we'll email each other. And
Okay.
if we'll email each other anyway, and then I can respond to Matt.
Yeah, and you guys have my phone number on my email too, so always give me a call or whatever if you need something. Just
Sounds good.
call my cell. All right.
Okay.
okay. So once it all gets back to Matt, someone, if you copy me, Steve, then I can arrange, for town signature, I guess, with Jim.
Yes. Yeah. You will do that.
Yeah, I can take care of that.
Okay. Sounds good. All
Yeah,
right. Well,
once we get the all clear, then I can do that
Yeah,
piece.
but
Yep.
Michelle or I, either one. Doesn't matter.
so if I don't hear from Bob or Eric by close of business Friday, 5 o'clock, I'll assume there are no comments, and I will inform Matt and Michelle accordingly.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
There.
Sounds like a
Motion been made
plan.
and seconded.
What was that?
I said, has the motion been made and seconded?
To
To
adjourn?
adjourn.
Yes.
Not yet. Go ahead.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? I'm not going to call for a roll call. I'm assuming it's unanimous. Next meeting is October 22nd. We'll see you then, and maybe we'll have a warrant by then.